too. And let me push something up so I can see comments and things like that. Okay, hi everybody. We're on live and we are doing a tutorial, a social tutorial. So remember, we don't get real quick with the tutorials. For first, it's just quilting and me and all of you. We kind of have like a little social hour and we just have a good time. So hello everybody. Hi Linda. It just really is a good time that we get to have as we are learning together. And I wanted to go ahead and show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this little apron right here. And it's just very darling. You will probably learn some new techniques with this apron. So let me go ahead and I want to pull this. I'm going to move the cameras in a little bit. But I have, if you remember, we did an organizer for the Let's Bake Sew Along. So remember, we made a binder with everything for the Let's Bake Sew Along. So if any of you guys are behind, hi everybody. If any of you guys are behind on the Let's Bake Sew Along, you can download the planner and the binder. And these are the sheets that I use to go ahead and take care of each of the different blocks in here. So, and it really helps me stay organized and keep all of my supplies in one spot. So I'm going to set this down. But I wanted to show you how I took notes for this green apron just right here on my sheet. So I took the notes for the different specifications of the green apron on my sheet. And then you can see I've got my green apron completely constructed. This is for the Let's Bake Sew Along that is with Lori Holt of BMI Bonnet. So she does a really good job. I'm going to move this little bit of light over there. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe not. Okay, so, so this is all ready to sew, but I wanted to show you that this is the Nutmeg apron, and I've got everything pre-cut in here, and what I do is I just throw it back into these things. So, that's what we are going to be working on tonight, and tonight we'll have some winners of some different items. There are these really darling Let's Bake magnets that are really cute, and I'll probably just send people just one of each magnet, but you guys can let me know which magnet you're interested in and would like. So we're going to have somebody win, we're going to have a bunch of people win some of the magnets, and then we're going to have some people win some these, I don't know, what do you call them? They're not measuring cups, they're measuring spoons. So I thought it'd be fun for the Let's Bake block to have people win some measuring spoons. You can always use an extra pair of measuring spoons, and these are Betty Crocker brand. So I just think they're terribly fun and really cute looking and very red, which is part of the branding. So, okay, so let's go ahead and get down to this. And I have right now, just so you know, these are the design boards that are designed by Lori Holt, and we did a tutorial on how to make your own design board. But right now, all of her turquoise and coral are out of stock completely at the warehouse. I think they are actually, they only have a green color right now for the 10 by 10 inch ones. And the 18-inch ones are out of stock except for the orange design board. So just a heads up about that. So I'm going to be using one of the green design boards. Over here on this one that's finished, I was using a red design board just for the convenience of it. Okay, so if you're interested in learning any information of, if this is the first time you've seen anything about the Let's Bake Sew Along, or you want to see the information that I have on the Let's Bake Sew Along on my site that I've published for you guys, like for example, the download for the organizer or any other tips or videos or that kind of stuff, then just write anything about Let's Bake, Lori Holt, Apron, you can write any of those things. If you guys have watched a lot of my videos, this is only on Facebook, that Facebook can go ahead and get that link. On YouTube, the link is already in the comments, and on Instagram, I'm so sorry, I don't have it, but you can go to my Instagram profile and then you'll see the link for my website, so which has a menu there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to move these rulers to the side. And there's just so many supplies when you have this. So let me pull out what you need So pretty much the green apron and the brown apron are very similar. There's just a couple little cosmetic little things on them, but really the techniques are very, very similar in terms of this apron. For any of the aprons, there's actually 5 aprons on this quilt block. There's a mama's apron and then 4 daughter aprons. So that's what we're doing there. Also, let me know, we're going to do some more lives this evening. So let me know what you guys are interested in doing as lives and what you guys have been up to and making. We're actually going to do, oh, let me show you, because I don't know. Here is my rug. So remember our rug that we've been working on, the jelly roll rug. So this is the jelly roll rug. I am actually going to teach you guys how to work with some of the clothesline. So this is the clothesline that you get just at Walmart, and I think it's $1 something, and you get 50 feet of rope. And I wanted to teach you guys how to do something like this jelly roll rug, which the instructions are great. I have the pattern. Oh, here's the pattern. Sorry, guys. The pattern that you need for this jelly roll rug is right here. And then you can use a jelly roll. For this one, I actually use the Let's Bake jelly roll. I don't know, anyone who's made their rug, let me know. And I'm just curious, but remember, you can also use all of your scraps. So, but with Walmart or any other kind of box store, you can buy clothesline rope. And so I'm going to teach you, it's very affordable. Is that with the special embroidery? No, this is just with a basic open toe foot, and we're going to do a zigzag stitch. So, but I'm going to show you how you can keep your rope flat for, say, something like a rug. We'll make a little coaster, and also how you can change it and torque it up so that you can make a bowl or those types of concepts. So I want to teach you some basic concepts that are good to know with the clothesline rope to help you guys with your jelly roll rug. Okay? So I just wanted to show you guys that real fast. We'll be doing that live video right after this live video. Okay. So for this live video, I don't know about you guys, but I get annoyed with these little bias tape makers. They're made by Clover, which is wonderful, but I actually mark them because they're in centimeters. Yeah, centimeters. So I mark them with my own tag that says that they're a 3/8 of an inch, a 1/2 inch, or whatever. So I mark these things. You could do it with a Sharpie marker or whatever you want. But I always get confused as to what size is what. So you need 2 of these Clover bias tape makers. I've really enjoyed actually working with these bias tape makers and getting more of my confidence up with that. So I'll show you how to do those. For a 3/8 of an inch bias tape, you're working with a 3/4 of an inch of fabric. And so it's also cut diagonally on the grain of the fabric, this piece of fabric right here, and you can see how it has a stretch. So see how it has a stretch in there? Yeah, the rugs really are so cute. We've been doing live videos on those too, you guys. They are so fun. And if you want to join our Facebook group, Everyone Can Quilt, and I love to see all of your pictures of what you're doing. Thanks, Kim! You guys, I got my hair done today. I got it cut and colored, and so Kim was just complimenting me on that. Thank you, Kim. You're so awesome. She's a fun girlfriend of mine that also sews and all of that kind of stuff. But that's where I was earlier today. But it's so painful to have to sit there and not be productive. Anyways, okay, so you need this. You're going to use a 1-inch strip of fabric. So this is going to be for the top of the apron. I'm going to go ahead and lay these down a little bit. You need some of the vintage trim that is the nutmeg color. I have all of the vintage trims on large rolls. So you can see here I've got every single color. There's red, there's yellow, there's teal, and these are on 50-yard rolls. So you can buy them by the yard, and it's really inexpensive to just sit there and buy them by the yard instead of buying them by those wooden bolts. I don't have one of those to show you right now. But just so you know, I've got all of the colors for you guys. But you can buy that at Stitches Quilting. For this block, we are using this color of fabric. This shade of fabric for the apron bottom. So I'm going to lay this right here so you guys can get an idea of what we're making. So this is going to be the apron bottom. Let me prop this up. That's actually a fat quarter bundle of the Let's Bake fabrics. But so this is going to be our apron bottom right here. This is going to be up at the top of the apron, right up here, similar to that where it says brownies. I'd love to make some brownies. But I'm trying to diet right now and drink more water and just be a little bit healthier. My kids are on spring break in Arizona with my ex-husband. So I've got some extra time. So I like to diet when they're out of town because I don't get as hangry, you know, at nighttime. And then I can go to bed a little hungry and you know, just not be grumpy with my kids. I don't want to do that. The background to all of the Let's Bake blocks is this cake fabric. So you can see the cake fabric right over here a little bit on that. Okay. And there's another piece. Oh no, that's it. So this apron has two little pockets that we're going to put on it instead of this little yellow thing right here. And we're going to trim it with some of the red vintage trim. So let me show you this vintage trim. It's a bit more pokey. I don't know if you guys can see it. Instead of just regular rickrack, it's actually rather pokey. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but it gives a kind of fun look. It's a little bit more trendy. Here's the brown. I kind of like it. It's a little bit more trendy than, say, just your typical rounded rickrack. I had Corey share some links in the, what is a cake fabric? Oh, this is the Let's Bake fabric collection that you use to make this quilt. So I think that's what maybe what your question was with that. The quilt looks like, oh, I put my book down here, but the quilt looks like this, and it has like a KitchenAid mixer, and it has aprons and all sorts of fun things on there if you love to bake and things like that. Okay, so let's get back to these things. Let's go ahead and push this all the way over. I am going, so our apron strings for this one are these 3/4 of an inch, and we're going to push this through a bias tape maker, right like this. We're going to use the 3/8 of an inch bias tape maker. And let me show you guys how to use this. So for a bias tape maker, remember this is cut on the bias because we want those apron strings to curve like this. See how the apron strings are curving? It's hard to curve fabric that's just on the grain. So whenever you want to curve fabric, you're going to want to cut it on the bias, which means you're cutting it diagonally into the fabric. I'm sure most of you guys can maybe understand that. Oh, here. So here's a block that is cut out on the grain. All right. So say you've got a piece of fabric. Instead of cutting that out on the grain, you cut this out diagonally on the fabric. Let me just hold that up a little bit better. I could put it in front of, and it's on the diagonal like that. So that's what it means to have some bias tape that was actually cut on the bias. So you have bias tape that is actually a straight grain bias tape, which I do have a piece of that. So this brown one, since we are going to have this curve, this brown strip needs to be cut out on the bias. So anyways, so you guys, let me know. Oh yes, this is my real workspace, you guys. And it's like a hot mess right now. I mean, I have so many things all around me. It's crazy. So, but that's how you cut something out on the bias. I'm glad that you're liking to see people's workspaces. I should show you the rest of the room. It's definitely a workspace. Okay, so let's push this 3/4 of an inch bias tape through this. I'll give you guys a tour of my creative spaces. So we kind of have a shipping room here. We have a room where we keep all the fabric and the things that we sell. And then we have my studio room. Now I'm going to show you this. Oh, Lori Holt, her magnetic pin bowls came in. So I don't know if any of you guys were wanting those, but they are for sale on the website. I'm not trying to sell a ton of stuff. I'm just letting you know because people were really waiting for those. This is the bias tape maker. I have fed it in through the back of the bias tape. We want this to be rounded right here. And so I'm going to feed it in there, and you kind of have it go, let's go this way. Sorry guys. Maybe I was using this one. This one's got a pointed end. It's kind of easier to start it off that way. Okay, so it's going to be rounded in the bottom. And I'll show you this again. Now, it gets a little tricky to feed something to become so narrow. So there's a little groove in the bottom of this bias tape maker for the 3/4 of it. 3/8 of an inch bias tape maker. So there's that little tiny groove, and what you're going to do is you're going to actually take your pin and you're going to drag that fabric through, and this is one of Lori Holt's new quilting pins, which those are out of stock. These ones right here. The only pins that you can buy are the sewing and the applique pins. She came out with a new line of pins called Pretty Pins. Anyways. Okay, so now I have this coming out, so you can see that coming out right there, and we will have people win all the way across all the platforms from Facebook to Instagram to YouTube. And we've got these things, and we've got magnets and everything else, so it'll be a lot of fun tonight. Okay, so now I'm starting to pull this through. What I immediately want to do is take this over to my iron, so let's move this over. Oh, I could probably do this right here on this design board. Let's move these tins. I keep a lot of my supplies for Lori Holt in these metal tins, and they're like all over the place. So let me stack them up over there so I've got a better workspace. Oh, her new pins come in these little like ball jars. Aren't those cute? But I'll show you that later. We're going to work on, we'll use those applique pins. Okay, so here we are, and I've got, I'll remove these things so we don't get confused. Okay, so I'm using this design board right here, and I'm going to demonstrate how you use the bias tape maker. So I've got this peeking out right here. So I'm going to take my iron. It's kind of maybe twisted around the chair. I'm not sure. I'm going to take that iron and lay it down on here. It's kind of weird, you guys. I don't know. This could be a little scary, right? All right. Now I'm going to I don't think my iron's very heated up. These Aliso irons, the pink one is the one that it only turns off every 3 minutes, but this iron auto turns off every 30 minutes. So it's kind of a pain in the butt to have your iron auto turn off. What do you guys do for your irons? Do you guys auto turn off your irons? Do they have an auto turn off feature? Let me know. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm sure this is probably hot now. Yep, I can feel it. Okay, so now I'm gonna just keep easing the bias tape out, and I'm gonna ease it out like this. It is also helpful if you use a little bit of starch. So I don't want to starch on my design board. I can press on this, but it's not smart to starch it. So what would be ideal is to do this on your ironing board right here, and you just spritz a little bit of starch. I've got another inexpensive bottle of starch. It's not within my hand to show you guys. So you just kind of starch that a little bit, and it'll help your bias tape to have a little bit more structure. So let me go ahead and show you this. I might starch it just a tiny bit more because I want that to continue to starch. I'm going to pull it this way so I can, my ironing board is just a little moist. Mine doesn't, and I have to remember to turn it off or my husband reminds you. So yeah, with your iron, I agree. Oh my goodness, my nerves went out the door, Jackie. I'm sorry. with that ironing on my chest. Yeah, that was not smart. Do not try these things at home. Do not. They are not smart to do at home. Okay, there's one little spot that folded over on me. So I'm going to pull this back in my, since I'm multitasking here, I'm reading. Do you see any comments I should respond to, Corey? Sweet Corey's over there. Let's see here. I love the little irons. Yeah, I like the little irons too. I have a little iron, but I don't think that little iron, it's not, I have to try some more little irons. If you guys have suggestions for little irons, I would love that. Yours is auto shut off. Even just basic, a lot of basic like Walmart irons come with auto shut off features. I've had those for quite some time, and I think, well, I personally need that. I need that feature because life just gets a little bit too busy. Okay, so let me show you this, and then I'll be done. I'm going to just press this one more time. Okay, so this was what we started with, was this piece of fabric. Remember, it was 3/4 of an inch. And then we end up with a piece of bias tape. Remember, it's stretchy, and it went through the little bias tape maker, and now it is nice and clean. I mean, doesn't that look really clean? And we can go ahead and curve this to then be the apron strings. Okay, let's put that away. Let's see here. You would use this bias tape maker with this strip for the very top of the apron. But we're going to jump ahead, and I'm going to sew and show you some applique methods. So let's jump to that and not spend so much time on bias tape. Why did I spend so much time on bias tape? Was that at all helpful? Okay, what Lori Holt does with her patterns is she has, which you guys could do this any way you want to do it. Where did my shapes go? You guys? Oh, they're right there. They're hard to see sometimes because they're clear, right? Okay, here's the shapes. There are these shapes that she calls so simple shapes. You could make your own shapes just out of cardstock and make your own type of shapes and methods and designs that you're going to do in applique. For this pattern, though, you do need to buy her So Simple shapes if you want to make this Let's Bake quilt, okay? So what she has you do is you take her shape, but you could do this on cardstock. So think in your brain about how you can applique things and maybe your favorite animal or your house, or I don't know, who knows what you might want to applique. So let me get the design board again so you guys can see what I'm doing. I have this piece of fabric that is going to be the bottom of the apron, remember? So we're making this brown apron, and this is the green one that's already made. So we are going to use this shape, which you can see that is the shape of the bottom of the green apron. So you use the shapes multiple times. So what we're going to do is she has you take a piece of interfacing. This is an old applique method that used to be present back in the, with muslin. So people used to do this with muslin. You're going to, Lori Holt has her own interfacing that's a Pellin brand, but it's similar to the Pellin, I'll think of the brands that they are. There's a number 40 and there's another one. If you go on my website, you'll see what they are. I try to help you find the right kinds. And there's definitely, they're on there. So anyways, but you draw with a pencil on the interfacing, so you don't have to bother with your fabric. I love this method of applique. So has anybody used this method before for applique? So what you do is you lay your shape on the interfacing and you trace around the shape. I just use a pencil. You could use just about anything to draw on there, but you want it to show up, okay? And we're going to change a couple camera angles because I want you guys to be able to see me stitching this out. So what I am actually going to do on the sewing machine is I'm putting this fabric up and I've got my interfacing and I'm going to stitch all the way around here with a small stitch. So the smallest stitch that my sewing machine can do is a 2. So I don't know, every sewing machine is different, right? I'm using a white thread, and I'm using a white thread on the top and in my bobbin, and I'll continue to keep the white thread in my bobbin. I actually use an Aurifil thread. These are different spools of Aurifil. Lori Holt does have some Aurifil thread boxes. This is a really monstrous one, but I really like several of her fabrics, so I went ahead and purchased it. I do have this for sale on the website. There are smaller boxes of her Aurifil thread, and even just getting a basic white Aurifil thread or gray for a piecing that is more, that you don't want it's a 50 weight thread, but you don't want the thickness or the bulk of the thread to show through. She also has an Aurifil floss. This has been out of stock at the warehouse for quite some time, but it is finally back in stock if anyone is wanting to get the floss right there. And the smaller set is called Sewcial of the smaller Aurifil thread set. Okay, and that is finally back in stock. So we are now going to take this over the sewing machine. These little pockets on the apron are these little yellow pockets right here. Okay, can you see that? So can you see my pencil line there on that? And what you're going to use is you're going to use template E3. So if you do this, kind of number your templates if you make your own type of quilt. And then you do that, and I already traced it with a pencil, but you just trace around this. So has anybody tried this? Has anybody tried this before? This is a free pattern that Lori Holt publishes. So this pattern is free for the Let's Bake quilt. I'm going to put away my shapes now. All right. And we're now going to go over to the sewing machine. And I'm actually going to do this with the big apron. Let's see here, Corey. Okay, here, let me move this pin cushion. Let me move these rulers. I don't want them to fall. Let me move that little container, and I'm going to get you guys to come over closer to the sewing machine. So let's see here, Corey. Can you, yeah, and then down. Thank you. Thank you, sweetie. I have this. I use a ball jar sometimes. And then can you move these? Maybe move that whole thing over, the whole stool. Can we move the whole stool over? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good angle. What do you guys think? Is that okay? Is that an okay angle? All right, so I use a ball jar for some really big spools behind my sewing machine. I don't know what you guys do for large spools of thread. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right here, and I'm just going to stitch directly on the pencil line. So we're going to stitch directly on that pencil line. All right, everybody? And you don't want to start or stop at a point, because when you start or stop at a point, it's going to have extra thread in there. All right? Let's go ahead and bring this up, bring my needle up, and I'm going to start stitching on this little edge right here. And, oh, you know what? I'm going to move my body over so I can see this better, and I'm going to put on my glasses so I can see the sewing machine better. And let me find a way to put my foot on the pedal. Now, my sewing machine actually has, there's a little piece of thread that's wrapped around the foot. I am using an open toe foot. So let me show you what an open toe foot looks like. An open toe foot looks like this, where you can see more of what's happening in the foot area. Okay, I need to be able to see that line. If you have a quilting foot on, you're not going to be able to see that line. This is a quilting foot with a 1/4 inch seam. You're not going to be able to see your pencil line, so you want to put on an open toe foot. I have my open toe foot on there. So, and I'm going to try to accurately do this. So I'm going to just go ahead and stitch along this line. It goes very quickly. Oh, I keep my sewing machine in needle down. If you don't have the needle down feature, you would crank the edge of your sewing machine over, and you would have that, put your needle down when you pivot or when you're moving along. I'm doing pretty good coming from an angle. Okay, and these are small stitches. These are very small, tiny stitches. Okay, so my needle is down. I'm going to just pivot this around. Okay, let's go ahead and go back down here. And I'm not going to back stitch when I come over to where I started. What I'm going to do, so let me go ahead and go along here. I'm pretty sure I'm on that line. So instead of back stitching, I'm just going to go over my first set of stitches just a tiny bit, and then they will be secure, because you want as little bulk as you possibly can. So let's go ahead and cut that thread. I'm going to show each person. Oh, I should have done a different color thread. I'm sorry, you guys. Usually I do like a black thread, but you can see where I pulled that around and pulled that around. Okay, I take my larger pair of Ginger scissors, or whatever scissors you have, and I'm going to go ahead and trim this along the pencil line, you know, just about 1/4 of an inch from the pencil line. So now you don't have to cut out your shapes of your fabric with this method. What's really nice is it just comes out, you know, from doing that pencil line on the interfacing. So I think that I really like this method of applique. I think it's one of my very favorite methods of applique. Okay, so here we go. We have this right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull this apart a little bit, because the interfacing is stitched completely on the right side of this, but I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to use these smaller scissors, and I'm going to just put a little hole in the center of that. Okay, so there's now a little hole in the center. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to birth the apron. We're going to have this apron turn inside out. So let's turn it inside out, and let's see here. Okay, so, and let me show you. So I don't know, how do you guys applique? I need to see your comments. That's okay, we can see the white thread. Oh, you can? Oh, good, I'm so glad. Okay, so I just kind of turned that inside out. You guys can see that. I'm going to use this tool called a point-to-point turner made by Clover. There's also another tool that's called the purple thing. That I think is also made by Clover. I don't know. Is that one made by Clover, you guys? I'm not sure. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I forgot something. Okay, I do this all the time. Let me put that back. We have to trim our corners and put some little, oh gosh, you guys help me with my words. We have to put in, we have to trim around the edges so that it will turn well. What is the word for that? So I'm going to just trim, not all the way past my applique thread, my thread that I stitched around, but I'm going to go ahead and trim this. What am I doing? Can anyone help me with my words? You know, when you're on live, you don't think of everything. I'm going to cut off this edge right here at a diagonal. Okay, so I cut that at a diagonal, and I'm going to cut this one at a diagonal, so that when it turns inside out, it's going to, has anyone said the words? What am I doing? My gosh, I can't even think about it. So I'll use a smaller pair of scissors for that. Snipping? Yeah, Corey's giving me words, so I'm snipping, notching, okay. Oh, Corey's reading people's words. Clip the curves, thank you, ladies. Notch the curves. Okay, so now I'm turning it back inside out. Okay, we're getting our apron back. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to use the point-to-point turner, because often I'll use a pair of scissors and then I'll break through something. The interfacing is easy to sometimes break through and to get a hole in it. So when I'm doing this, I'm actually pushing my point-to-point turner on the fabric side, not on the interfacing side. I don't want to bust through the interfacing. See that? So I'm doing it on the fabric side, not the interfacing side. And I'm going to give my fabric a little bit of a push so it gets that pretty rounded look. So, and I could use this side of the point-to-point turner. We do have lots of these for sale on Stitches Quilting. This is one of my favorite tools. I don't know. I guess because I didn't discover it till later in life. Okay, I'm going to use this point over here. I never had a purple thing. I don't know why. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I think that's lame. Okay, so here I am. I'm just shaping this shape of the apron. Okay, we're going to lay this down. So we have this. Let's heat up this ding dong iron because it turns off, and which is nice and safe. So now we're going to press this shape. Okay, so I have it on the design board, and we're going to bring the iron over and press it. I could show you also we could do it with the easy press, but we'll just do it with the iron. Okay, here we go. Hopefully it's warm enough. And these design boards are nice because you can press on the design board. Okay, don't want to burn my fingers. But look at how nice that shape came out. Let's see, let me make sure all cameras can see it. Look at how nice that shape is. Isn't that nice? Okay, so that's how you would do this type of applique. So remember, we've got the hole in the middle right here. So we've got the hole in the middle. That's where we turned it inside and out. And then we turned it over. Dee Dee, you have one of those tools. I agree. Either the purple thing or that point-to-point turner is good. Okay, so this is ready for all the other pieces of the apron. But I am going to jump to the other apron now because I want to show you so here's my debris. So remember, this is the piece that we would use for the apron strings. So this would come, oh, where's my white fabric? Oh, here it is. This is the background. If any of you guys need yardage of the cake plates, I have yardage of the cake plates on stitchesquilting.com. So you can buy it by the yard or whatever. So here we have our apron. Now, what I would use is Lori Holt's little applique pins. You may have your own applique pins. Just depends on what you want. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pin this down. I kind of just pin it there and just get it ready for what I want it to, what I know I think it should look like and the shape. Oh, that's pretty unequal. There we go. Let's center this in the cake fabric right here. Okay, let me just stand up for you guys. But we're going to center this on the cake fabric, about like that. And I'm going to stick these pins in here, not being super precise. If I was, I would probably be getting my little ruler. So I've got a little ruler right here, and I would measure how far we are from the edge on that side and on the other side. Remember, this apron has these cute little pockets that go right here with some rickrack. So I haven't stitched these closed yet. And then you use the little red rickrack on this. This is the, oh, you guys look at this fabric. They're I think they're egg beaters. I should grab a bigger piece of this fabric for you. But look at that darling fabric. They're like little egg beaters. And that's part of the apron. I like the fabrics that are being used. Oh, here, you guys here. You can see the egg beaters fabric on there. I don't know. It's just kind of cute if you're doing some kind of kitchen item or whatever. This is going to be up at the top. And then remember, these are going to be the apron strings right down here that will curve down. Okay, so then the other thing that we do is we use this Sue Daily applique glue, and we just put little dots down where we have pinned, and we glue this all together. Okay, does that make sense? So that's what you do for this method. Now let me go ahead, and I'm going to set these things aside real quickly, and I'm going to bring over the other apron that's already done. So you can see I kind of obnoxiously pinned quite a bit. Can you see all those little applique pins in there? But since I definitely had these curves and I'm trying to hide this vintage rickrack in there, I wanted to just put in extra pins. So now I'm going to take these pins all out because I glued this down, and then I kind of just had my pins hold it there while the glue was drying, okay? And now I'm going to take this over because I am not going to hand applique this quilt. I'm not trying to hand applique it. I'm going to machine applique it. So I want to show you how I do that very quickly. How many minutes have we been on, Corey?
How do I tell?
I don't know. Wonder how long this is. Oh, we've been on for 39 minutes. Okay, so let's get through this last little part. taking out all the pins and putting them back in Lori Holt's little ball jar type container for it. I could put them in my little pin cushion, but I already have some of these in there. I don't feel like I need them all in that magnetic pin cushion. Okay, so all the pins are out, and there we go. So there we have our block. So now I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to use a green Aurifil thread. So let's pick our thread out. Sorry, guys. So we're going to just use this right here. And this thread over here is actually for hand applique. Sorry, I'm not completely, it's for hand applique. It is an 80 weight thread. So the smaller, the higher the thread weight, the smaller the thread. This is a 50 weight thread. So let's go ahead and look at what color would be good for this. I think that this green right here will be a good color for this thread. So, and this is like opening candy that will stay. Okay, so we have a question from Julie. Do you, on the previous apron, do you attach the little pockets first before you applique? Yes, yes. So what I would do is I would stitch these little, so what Julie asked is, yes, Julie, I would stitch around these applique pockets, snip in the middle, turn it inside out. I would place them exactly where I want them to be on the apron right here. And then along with my other pieces, like this is the top of it, these are the apron strings, and then I'm going to take it over and applique. Okay, that is my personal preference. So because you guys, I'm doing a lot of different quilting and sewing projects, and to me I love hand applique, but this quilt is a lot of work, and it's not important to me that this be a hand applique project. A lot of people do this hand applique. Let me see if we have any comments from YouTube or anything like that. You guys, oh, there are lots of comments. You use a mason jar too. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. What is an applique pin? Okay, an applique pin is just a little bit shorter and narrower, thinner in terms of the gauge, that you can get it. You can find the pattern, the Let's Bake pattern, on my website in the link for the YouTube video. Okay, there is a link to the free pattern on my website, and you can download it there. It's like 26 pages long, so it's a long pattern. Okay, so I'm going to open up this Aurifil thread. Why is that like so long? Is that not really the opening? What the heck? What the heck, you guys? I didn't think. See, Corey, do you see another green over there? Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind. I don't know, you guys. Oh, it's working. Okay, got it. You know, when you open your first, it's like opening, how does somebody open their Reese's peanut butter cup? Here, I'll turn you guys up for a second. But how, well, never mind. How does someone eat their Reese's peanut butter cup? Do you remember those commercials? I think it's funny because there's so many ways to open a thing of Aurifil thread. But I always find each one just very wonderful. I don't know. I also have less buildup in my sewing machine with Aurifil thread, which is really nice because it doesn't need to be serviced as fiercely, because the fibers for Aurifil thread, it's made in Italy. They're actually longer fibers. It is more expensive than just regular thread. So there's some projects that you want to use it on, and then there's other projects that you don't. Okay, I am not threading that like normal for some reason. Let me go ahead and trim this thread, and I'm going to just thread it really quickly. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we now have the green thread on the top. In my bobbin is just the white bobbin, okay? I'm still using a white bobbin in the bobbin area. And I want to see my stitching, okay? So let's see here, Corey. Would you be willing to switch? Oh, I can do it. Hold on, guys. I'm going to change the Facebook camera to this overhead camera. Sorry, because I want you guys to get a really good shot at... I'm sorry, it's going to be a little funky for a second. Okay, so let's see here, Corey, could you help me for 1 second, sweetie? Okay, so I'm going to bring you over here so you can see the sewing machine a bit better.
So what do you need?
Well, I just need to, oh, I can take this out so you guys don't have a cord there. Let's see here. It's so hard to get all of this just right. Let me bring you guys up better, higher. Okay, good. So I hope everybody, you can see the sewing machine. Here is the sewing machine. I wanted to give you guys a shot of this. So what I'm going to do here, this looks dark over here. Where do I need more light? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay. Anyways, it just looks dark for YouTube. I mean, for Instagram. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch just right on the edge with a straight stitch all along the places where I tacked this down with glue. So I'm going to stitch around this little square that says brownies. I'm going to stitch on the apron strings. You don't have an automatic threader. I do have an automatic threader, Awalda, but it wasn't working. Have you made this block, Awalda, yet? I'm so curious if you've made this. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this. I'm going to stitch the lower ones first. And I've glued everything down for the sake of just getting this video to be functional for all of you. So everything is glued down for me because I don't want to have to be gluing something, wait for it to dry, anything like that. You guys might have other preferences with how you machine applique. So Awalda, have you made the apron block yet? She is on Instagram and she is making this entire quilt. She's actually making it for her daughter. I think her daughter is 10 years old. Okay, I kind of wish I had a better angle at the sewing machine. Okay, I'm going to turn this around. But I can always unpick this, right? Okay, so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. So yeah, you guys can see what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and keep this moving around. If you want any information about this quilt, just in the Facebook comments, write something about apron, let's bake, if you want any of that, but it's going to take you to a place that you might have already been on my website, that if you've seen some of these other blocks before. So it's not like a new page. But if you're wanting to learn anything more about the Let's Bake quilt or anything like that, some of the supplies, things like that, it'll help you find the links to all of those things. Okay, so I'm continuing to stitch. And I'm continuing to stitch. All kinds of thread are great though. I mean, there are so many great threads out there. There really are. And I, like for example, for this, I'll use So Fine for the jelly roll rug. I'll use a big, huge spool of it because, well, I don't know. I want to just easily, okay, I'm kind of going off kilter there a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to come up here. So let me show you what I've done so far. Let's take this off and let's trim this. Oh, didn't trim all the way. Okay, so that's a little, well, do you see these stitches right here? I like those stitches best. Let me show it for YouTube. These stitches right here and these stitches right here. You have to understand I'm not sitting straight at my sewing machine. I am going to stitch down this apron circle right here. That is going to stitch also down that vintage rickrack trim. Okay, so it's going through all the layers of the top of this apron circle, the vintage trim, and then the apron lower part. Okay, we're going to bring this around. All right, so let's bring this around. So you could hand applique this. Hand appliquing is great, but let me show you what that looks like. Okay, here's my little stitch around the apron. But this particular quilt is just so detailed that I think it's so extra special that I don't feel the need to applique it because look at all the cute things just even on this one block. So now I'm going to applique machine stitch down and around the basic bottom. Oh, Corey, could you get some names ready to win on Facebook? And tonight we're going to be winning the measuring spoons, or you can win some of these magnets. I'm not going to be mailing out the whole magnet packet. I'll be mailing out like one of these to you guys. I'll send some other goodies in the package too.
Where can I see people share? Where do I look?
Well, no, you don't. Just people that are in the conversation.
Okay, all right.
If you can find that. And let's do at least 3 people on Facebook. How about 4? Let's do 4 people on Facebook. Let's do 2 people on YouTube, and let's do somebody on Instagram. And I'll figure out the YouTube and the Instagram. I need you guys, so I know who you are, to make a comment on YouTube. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to require you guys to comment. I just can't see who's on there live at the moment. But if you guys comment, then I can see who is there.
Somebody asked, how did you get the ribbon that says brownies?
Oh, okay, this piece of the fabric, I wish it was called Close to Me. It's a piece of her fabric collection. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to stitch right around the brownies right now. Let me find a piece of that fabric. I'm trying to see if I dropped some on the floor. Here's the fat quarter bundle. The brownie fabric is this fabric right here. I'm going to have to slip this back in because I don't. This fabric right here, you can see it has like a recipe on it. And it has different recipes actually. And on there are different words. And so I just kind of saved the word brownie for this apron. I don't know. That's what Lori Holt did. So whatever, right? I know, I'm a numb nut. So, but that's what this fabric collection, where the word brownies came from for this. You don't need to put brownies on there. I just thought it was kind of cute for the green apron. I don't know. You know, you do not have to use Lori Holt's fabric for this. You could make the quilt and download the pattern and one day actually, use, there's some people that use Bonnie and Camille's fabric for this. There's people that use, I made one of her cozy Christmas quilts with another collection of fabric. So, I mean, anyways, it's a free pattern no matter what. I mean, other than you need the shapes. Oh, I'm frozen on Facebook. Doggone it. I hope it didn't freeze forever. Okay, here is the apron. Here's the apron. So you guys can see that was stitched down with machine stitching. And I think it looks just great. Don't you? I think it looks fine. Okay, I'm going to go back to looking at comments here real quickly. This is then pieced together with the other aprons. All right. So let me go back and let me see all the comments that are going on. Sorry, I'm kind of close up. And I'm going to quickly, I hope the video did not freeze. Hi guys, sorry. Okay, I'll put that up. Let me go over here. Oh my goodness, my phone. It toppled and turned. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. Okay, so, okay, cute apron. It's all stitched, pretty much. I might need to go back and do something. I'm not sure. I'll have to go look. It's not frozen. I'm going to look at YouTube. I think YouTube is frozen. And those poor people, they get so frustrated when they're watching the video and it's frozen. Oh, I see a comment. I see comments. Okay, great. Okay, Corey gave me these names. Honey, could you hand me a pen? I'm sorry. I just want to write this down. Okay, for Facebook. Okay, as long as it wasn't me toppling over. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so for Facebook, we've got Randy K. Silva. Vanessa was shipping out all the winning things today. We have Amelia Brown. We have Delinda Garcia Cooner. And we have Beverly Provan. So all of you guys have won on Facebook. All right. And on Instagram, we will have Renee Dupree. So let me write that down. If I don't write this down, then we have problems. I don't want to have to rewatch all of my videos. And I had to do that one time. It was a real bummer. Okay, and then let me look on YouTube quickly. Okay, I see. Okay, I see Olive. Oh, sorry, I'm frozen. I'll have to upload. Okay, I see Olive. Olive on YouTube. And you guys can maybe hear me. Olive Goheen. Goheen. And we have, I need one more person on YouTube. Let's do RK Barnes. So RK Barnes. Okay, so now you guys need to message me, send me your address, send me your email if you want to. I need to know, do you guys want some of the measuring spoons? Or would you guys like a cute little magnet? You guys can see the magnets. They're just cute. They're just cute little playful magnets. So let me know what you want. But message me your address and message me your name and message me what you won. That's the best thing for me. Because otherwise I end up with tons of addresses because that's a lot of people to win in one day. Plus we'll have more later tonight. So we're going to have more videos. Okay, so let me know if you want these or if you'd like a magnet. Lori Holt, this is Lori Holt's Let's Bake Magnet from the Let's Bake Magnet collection. Okay, so that's everything for this video. I'm going to pop off. Where can you find the pattern? Just put in the comments that you would like the Let's Bake pattern, or I want to learn how to make an apron. Just write in the comments of YouTube or Facebook and you'll get the link. My husband also put in the links in the comments some of the links to go to, and you'll find everything on my website of where to go. Okay, and I'll try to answer questions when I come back. I mean later tonight or tomorrow on the live video. Okay, I'm gonna put this away, and when I come back and clean up all this stuff, when I come back we're gonna use the clothesline rope to teach you guys how to, I'm going to give you some tips on sewing the jelly roll rug with a clothesline rope, okay? And we're going to talk about how to decorate and how to wrap fabric around this if you want to. But that's how you, oh, on Instagram, Patty, I'm sorry, I don't have that messaging thing on Instagram. My Facebook has it. And the apron pattern is in the comments of YouTube. But if you go to my website on Instagram, go to my profile and then click my URL. And that will take you to my website and you will see some Let's Bake posts and information. So when I come back, we are going to stitch with the clothesline rope. So I'm going to give you guys some tips and techniques. And we are going to come up with some awesome ideas that you can make as gifts for either other quilty people that are out there or people that you just love, that using this type of concept from coasters to bowls to other things, okay? So go ahead and let's go ahead and I'll see you in just a little bit. So I'm going to pop off the live and then we'll do another live that has to do with making clothesline things and the jelly roll rug. Okay, love you guys tons. I'll see you in a little bit. Save this one. Yeah, this is still running. Let me click the X.